Dirty Laundry, Clean Confessions. Live, pre-recorded from the family laundry room with Smarge Haas and Not the Real Guest. Here, we are hanging it all out to dry. In the room, where famous people are loved, admired, and adored, however, not invited. With the exception of the great Willie Nelson, of course. We are keeping it real in the family laundry room with Not the Real Guest. Thank you for joining us today. Welcome to the family laundry room. How's it going, Haas?
Hey, Smarge. Doing good. How are you?
I am doing good.
How was your trip? You just got back.
It was awesome. I have a lot to share. I have to say, it was our first trip with the grandbabies.
Oh, that's right.
And for those of you that, just a reminder, Smarge here waited like a really long time for this period in her life to start.
Oh, and she completely made sure that this was going to happen in her life.
Yeah, I completely followed all podcasts for the year of 2021 about manifesting my future, and then I got two grandbabies in 3 months.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I have almost 6 months.
All thanks to you. No work of
Nothing.
daughters.
I didn't realize it was up to me, and I needed to buckle down.
Yeah.
And manifest my future.
And you did.
And I did, and here they are. So we took them to Cabo for the first time.
Good for you.
One at 3 months, one at almost 6 months. And I can tell you right now, Michael and I, my partner, said, we'll go stay at the nice little resorts, and you guys stay here at the condo and get real comfy.
There you go. Two babies under one roof, and maybe you can just have a good night's rest.
Yeah, even Michael asked, he goes, well, I'm booking the tickets. Of course, you're going to want to fly with everyone because they're taking the babies. And I'm like, nope.
No.
I served my time.
I've done that.
I will
4
greet
times
them.
over.
I will say goodbye to them at the airport. I will say hello to them. I will show up with and provide car seats and strollers, anything needed. But I don't want to be on the plane with them or travel with them. Why should I do that? And so I traveled down there with one, and I traveled back with 2.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So,
well, yeah.
Even though I planned it a certain way, it all worked out very well.
Yeah. Well,
and
good.
one of the little hotels we ended up staying in was right on the beach.
Ooh, nice.
And it was one of the top surfing boutique hotels on the California Baja, which I did not realize. So I got to watch a lot of surfers.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And being from Colorado, too, I've always wanted to, be a surfer. Every time I go traveling, I, surf when I'm up by the beach. But it sucks that when you're in a landlocked state, you, can't actually enjoy that. And it's so frustrating.
Yeah. And but then I also wonder about that other life. Doesn't it make you just want the life you can't have?
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm sure they never go home. I'm sure it's party on the beach all the time. I'm sure everything's just perfect for them. They have great weather all the time. I just get this story.
It's amazing.
However, then I started thinking about this thing I've heard of every now and then, river surfing.
What?
And I've heard about it from time to time, and I really thought I knew what it was. And then when I started thinking about it, I don't think I know what it is.
I have no idea what that is. I've never heard of that, genuinely.
Have you ever heard of the surfers that are down in the Gulf of Mexico? Off of Galveston Bay, that area?
Okay. Yeah.
And they wait for these big barges to come in, and the big barges coming in create big wave surfs.
No way.
So surfers are out there in their little boats.
Yeah.
With a driver, a surfing board, and a surfer, and they're waiting for these big waves, and then they ride the waves. And so I thought, well, that's what river and surfing is. And then I thought, well, wait a minute. In Colorado, we don't have rivers like that.
Yeah, you can't do that.
So I don't know what it is. So
how cool
that is my dirty confession in this family laundry room tonight. I have no idea.
Well,
and then I thought, well, you can't have a boat just hanging out in a river in Colorado from the rivers I've seen. It's just not going to work. Then I pictured a surfer just somehow knowing, you'd have to have a lot of water to go over those boulders. I've river rafted.
Right. So tell me that our guest today has some knowledge on this then.
Yes, our Not the Real Guest does. And it is C-Lew.
What's up? How we doing?
Welcome.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Really appreciate it.
And you are of multiple talents, I've learned.
Sure. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. I've tried a lot of things. That's for sure.
Okay.
I've failed at a lot. I've learned a lot as well. So
Isn't that how you learn?
exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
yeah.
What's the real saying? What a jack of all trades is not a master of all, but I don't know the rest of it.
I
But
don't
there
know
is
this
more
yet.
of it. There is more of it, right?
Yeah, what
Isn't
is
there?
Maybe
There's
we
more
could
of
put
it.
Otter on
For
that
sure.
famous
For
quote
sure.
because there's something.
I think it's
there.
a jack of all trade is not a master of all, but
The master of none.
or it's
A
master of none.
it's a master of none,
That's
but
what
of
it is.
Jack of all trades.
a jack of all trades is like better than a master of none. I'm sorry,
I don't know,
I've had
fish
a
in
couple
the hand
tequila
is
shots,
better than
so
a bird in the bush. I don't know.
Yeah.
it is something very close to what I just said. I promise.
I got you, you guys.
Okay.
A jack of all trades is a master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one.
Yes, so
Nice.
Thank you, Otter. There it is.
oftentimes
Nice.
it's better.
And that's great.
Yeah, heck yeah. I enjoy it. I definitely enjoy it for sure. Yeah.
So, of course, first, I want to hear about. What do you want to hear about, Haas?
No,
first?
sorry, go for it.
No, I do want to know. I want to know if it's the same thing.
It's the river surfing.
Me too.
Like, what is it? How
Yep,
did you
me
get
too.
started? I can't even fathom what this is, honestly.
All right. So river surfing is definitely. I mean, there are so many facets to the sport of surfing. Like, there's so many different like subcategories. I heard of it once talked about as this is surfing adjacent. Like, it's not like
okay.
actually surfing, but it is surfing. Like, I don't know. It's super funny, and I actually took that to heart, and I was like, "Screw you!" Like, this is very much surfing.
That's kind of offensive. I feel like.
very offensive for sure. But you talk to surfers out in the ocean and everything, and they may think of it a little bit differently. But then you bring someone from the ocean out to the river, and they're not doing as well, or vice versa. So there's a lot of different facets to surfing. This is what I fell into was particularly river surfing, and it was super weird how I got into it. Actually, like during COVID, I was just watching a bunch of YouTube videos. Me and my wife were making YouTube videos about theme parks at the time. We were like,
I love COVID for this.
yeah, we were.
I really do.
Brought out the most entertaining
It was so
Didn't
crazy.
it bring out
Yeah,
the best of our creativity?
it really did. It
So
just like
shout out to you and your wife.
Thanks.
That is awesome.
yeah. We'd been making YouTube videos for like 2.5 years at that point of just different theme parks across the country that we've been to.
No way.
And they were doing terrible. We had like 50 subscribers. We had like, they were doing horrendous. But we enjoyed them a lot, and we enjoyed
Right.
traveling to these spots and doing it.
And it's a way to like remember those activities for yourself and for your family.
For sure, definitely. I mean, it was massive, and like it's really cool to look back on those videos. I mean, we have like our proposal on those videos. We have like, it's like.
Cute.
Yeah, super cheesy, but like super cool at the same time. Like I can always pull it back up. Like
I love that.
Like I proposed to her at Diagon Alley and in the Harry Potter world, like a total nerd, you know?
Aw,
that's
And,
awesome.
yeah, super cool.
Oh,
It has
that's awesome.
absolutely nothing to do with surfing, but like definitely like, like it was just awesome making all these YouTube videos. And then I just was always watching the Vans channel. Vans has a YouTube channel,
Right.
and they have a guy who was making a series called Weird Waves, and it's this guy Dylan Graves, and he goes across the entire world and finds just waves that you would normally not surf, like
That's rad.
glaciers falling in Antarctica, and then like surfing those, or like tidal
Wow.
bore surfing in the UK where it's like miles long.
Yeah, what is
You know-
There's some up in Ireland too, real cold but great way, like the best waves in the world. Or something,
Ireland is
almost,
like
or-
a hidden gem,
Is that,
you know,
that's
like
what I've heard. But
it's
cold,
because no one
but
wants
cold.
to fight the cold. You got to be up there in a 5.3
I
millimeter.
mean, how are you gonna listen to the
Right.
Beach Boys on the beach?
There's
shoving
no-
in your
There's no
ass
warmth.
off.
Yep, no warmth, no flip flops, no board shorts.
No,
Ooh.
they're in
Yeah.
they're in dry suits.
No wetsuits.
It's really
Yeah, dry
intense.
suits. Yeah.
Oh, is that what they are?
No, they're dry suits. Like
Yeah.
you need a dry okay. Wetsuit, dry suit. Wetsuit you can pee in, guys. Dry suit you cannot pee in.
Oh,
because it will
okay.
stay
I
with
didn't
you.
know there was
Yeah.
a difference.
There's
Yeah,
a
no.
big difference.
I love to water ski, and
Yeah.
if it's too cold in Colorado, I have a dry suit. But then I love my wetsuit. But
So
I
it-
do not like when I forget that I have on my dry suit and I do not have on my wetsuit.
Oh, so you
It's happened,
can't
but it
pee
only
in
happens once.
But they look completely different.
They worked it, yeah.
They look completely different.
Wow, I
They
should've
look
done some
different, they
research,
work
guys,
different.
before this
And
podcast, 'cause I
I'll
didn't even
say
know that was
this.
a thing.
Yeah.
right now, and like I respect anybody that wears a dry suit because I totally get why you would wear a dry suit.
Yeah.
But you'll never catch me dead in a dry suit.
Why?
Because
What
it
is the
doesn't look
deal?
as good on film.
Oh, but wait.
Okay, there.
When you have a 56-year-old body and you got that tight black rubber crab holding it all in the right
Oh
places.
no, I 100% agree, and that's why there's always
I
the
love
saying
it. I'll rock it.
you never surf colder than your age unless you got a dry suit. Yeah. So.
Well,
Yep.
oh my God,
That's
at
a good
56, I
fact.
just realized I followed the wrong calling. Maybe I should have been a surfer.
No, you got a dry
That's
suit.
funny.
You got a
But
dry
yeah,
suit.
I
You're
do have a dry
perfect.
suit,
Yeah, you're
so,
fine.
yeah,
You're totally
so
fine.
I'm getting ready to, because sometimes, April, May in Colorado, the water it hasn't had time to warm up yet.
It doesn't.
But
Okay.
it's fun to water ski
And
on.
some of the best surf too.
So
See,
let's-
I can't imagine.
let's get into that. Like, where do you surf? How do you do this? How do you find?
What
'cause
creates the
we live in
waves?
Colorado, so how do you actually get into this sport? How
Our-
did you even like find this in the first place?
Yeah, so I got really lucky. Just diving back into what I was talking about, I was watching a series on the Vans channel called Weird Waves, and this guy just goes around the world finding different waves, and he found this wave in Germany called Eisbach,
Okay.
and it basically means ice bath in German. But they've been surfing this wave since like the 70s, and it's like a 20-foot wide wave, and
No
Oh,
way.
like there's like an old
wow.
story of. Do you guys know who Kelly Slater is?
Yeah.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, because my wife didn't know until about a year ago, Kelly Slater is the Tony Hawk of surfing. He is like
Who's Tony Hawk?
Tony Hawk is like, woo, and Tony Hawk is like the Peyton Manning of skateboarding.
Because then I'm like, oh shit, that wasn't Ethan Hawke, was it? Or no.
No,
Who's the guy in the wheelchair? Because that would have been terrible.
Hawkins.
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 Thank you. I thought, oh shit. So I'm glad. And this is Marge's biggest problem. She just really gets her names mixed up.
That's
sometimes.
awesome.
So,
That's awesome.
So he's a skateboarder. So
Well,
he's like,
okay, I'm
wait, go
sorry.
back
I'm
to-
sorry.
and
I dove way
yeah.
too deep into this.
Yeah.
No, you
Wow.
didn't. You
So
didn't.
Okay.
this is a very famous
So
person.
Tony Hawk is probably the most famous skateboarder ever. Okay, like he's got video games after him.
From like
ton-
when all your daughters were born.
yeah, from like the
Okay.
90s, like
From the
95
90s. Rock
plus.
the 90s. Yeah. Yeah.
Kelly Slater is probably as equivalent to Tony Hawk in the surf world.
Surfing.
Thank you. Okay.
However, the surf world, which I did not realize this until the last few years, is nowhere near as big as the skateboard world.
Really?
Well, if you think about it, the United States, for example, we have way more opportunities to skateboard than we do to surf.
1000%.
Unless you river
until
surf.
We found river surfing.
Until we found river surfing.
But
Okay, that makes sense.
Geographically, the United States is essentially landlocked. in
It makes a lot
areas.
more sense, like
You're getting better at
U.S.
that word.
wise, but like internationally, it doesn't make it. It sort of seems sort of even. But we're not gonna dive into that. Like,
Okay, no, I see where
Yeah.
you're going. I see where you're going with that.
but
Yeah.
anyways, I mean, surfing's been around longer than skating. Skating
It-
was
well-
made to mimic surfing, you know. But
Do you think
it-
they surfed before they invented the wheel?
maybe
I'm serious.
I'm dead. Yeah, me too.
Let's think
No,
about it.
I just was laughing because it's like a crazy thought I've never even thought.
You would
of.
have
Well,
to.
I hadn't either. However,
We'd
like,
have
it
to
hasn't
dive
kept me up
into
at night,
like
so- but-
Polynesian history as well as
I
like
bet they
African
did.
history,
That's what I was thinking.
and figure
'cause
out a time.
I think you're totally right.
I mean, I bet they were relatively close to each
catch
other.
a wave before a wheel.
Probably.
That was probably the motto back then.
That's the podcast title right there. Okay.
However, yeah, I would just watch these videos, and surprisingly enough, I typed in river surfing in Colorado, and there happened to be this dude who was making videos out here already, who I am actually very good friends with, and it's actually the craziest thing ever. Shout out to Alex Moyer. You are the man. I really appreciate you, dude. But like, it's weird. I don't even surf with this guy anymore. Now he skateboards, and I came from a skateboard background, and now all I do is surf.
Oh, you swapped.
We just flopped around. So I'll get you guys in
great.
touch with my boy Alex for sure.
Yeah,
We'll get you guys hooked up. He's a good
Yeah.
skater,
After
and
we
like
learn about the wave, we'll learn
Yeah.
about the wheel.
exactly,
Right,
exactly.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
But he's a really good
In
guy,
the
and
laundry room.
yeah, he was making videos here of him paddleboarding and like surfing and stuff, and I was like, what the hell, like. So I just started following him, and then next thing I knew, there was a wave not even a couple miles away from my house that broke from basically May till the end of the summer. And I was like,
So you know these waves are. My interest is just
I
really
know, I have
peaked.
Yep.
So
so
you
many
know they're
questions.
coming. Like, are we talking like on rivers like Clear Creek?
Water.
Clear Creek. Clear
Water,
Creek does have some. So Clear.
Because like I have rafted down there,
Yep.
and
It can get very hectic.
it was touch and go. I
Yep. So I mean, we can surf. I've been to Clear Creek.
but
I
we're
mean,
talking rivers. And
river,
we're not
river.
talking the Mississippi River where you can't see the other side in some places.
No.
because it's so
Colorado
wide. We are
River.
talking.
Skinny.
Okay.
Yep. Very
well,
skinny rivers. I mean, we're talking 20
Question
feet.
number one answered.
Yep. 20 feet wide at max.
Mm-hmm.
So
And how quick are we moving?
it depends.
Ideally.
So how we
There are rocks in the rivers. Don't you know that?
there are
you
rocks.
wearing a helmet?
Marge, your
Oh,
mother,
sorry.
your mother
Sorry,
is showing.
That's right. That's
Calm
right.
down.
Sorry.
there are rocks. Yes. I would recommend everyone out there to definitely do their research and really
And wear a helmet.
understand the what you're going through and what you're putting
Because
yourself
your
at risk.
mother didn't drink for 9 months, so you could have a good brain.
Touche.
Protect that brain.
Touche. But more than just your head, I think you really need to understand the idea of entrapment. You can have entrapment from when you fall down behind a rock can
yeah.
hold you
Okay.
under.
Like in an eddy or something.
Smarges
Uh,
out.
Right?
anything behind you, you have to watch out for. I mean, there could be branches, there could be a rock behind you. For some reason, these river waves, tend to create like a whirlpool right underneath it, and you'll get stuck inside of it. So you just have to really understand, like, it's time to stay calm. It's time to understand my surroundings and stuff.
And you're having fun this entire time, huh?
yeah,
Okay.
definitely,
Okay.
definitely.
Good.
Yeah, I guess we'll backtrack a little bit. Like,
That's the life I'm striving for. When the stress is high, I am kicking ass and having fun.
sort of, yeah. I will say that it does take a certain type of person to do this.
Absolutely.
It's not
For the faint of
it's
heart.
not for the faint of hearts. It's also not for someone who just thinks that they're extreme. You gotta like know that this
Kind
is
of
what you want to do.
right
You know,
now, Haas, of our Olympic athlete, the downhill skier guy, saying,
Yeah.
you know,
From a few weeks ago.
it's a good sport, but it's dangerous. It comes with its goods and its bads.
yeah, definitely.
Right,
I mean,
okay.
yeah, you have to understand, like, when you're putting yourself into this river, you're possibly gonna kill yourself.
You're gambling with your life to an extent, I would say.
But at the same
Okay.
time, you sort of have to understand that with any type of surfing, whether
Well,
you're in
with
the
any type
ocean,
of passion, I would say.
passion or extreme
Extreme
sport.
sport.
Right,
You know,
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
I feel bad, like, you know, when I'm not surfing, I'm out usually skateboarding.
Wait. When you're not surfing, you're skateboarding.
Yeah,
So you just have that.
I'm an
what is that?
adrenaline junkie.
There you
Yeah.
go. Thank you. You knew it. You
Yeah.
knew it. Thank you. Yeah, you just have
need
it.
to be on a board.
It
at
might-
You
this
know what I
point.
have to say to you? I haven't heard you're an alcoholic yet. I haven't heard that you are just like cracked out on cocaine yet, and you're cracked out on crack, and you are dealing with your addiction. And I'm doing parentheses, guys. In a healthy way,
For sure.
in my opinion. Even though it's scary,
For sure.
what a healthy way to deal with it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
Yeah.
I totally agree. And I mean, I grew up in a household with, I mean, my dad was a raging alcoholic. He had
I
super
am sorry
bad
to hear
drinking
that.
issues. So it was just like, he taught me a lot of the importance of athleticism and like really staying athletic. We grew up in a lacrosse family. My dad played lacrosse while I was growing up.
Wow. Okay.
So it was very, you know, it was very just drilled into me at a young age that staying active was important. But now watching my father go down a path that I didn't want to go down, I was like, not only do I need to stay active, but I need to focus my like this angst into something else, because I could tell my dad's angst was being focused
Stay
into
focused
drinking.
with a purpose.
You know,
with
yeah.
a purpose. You had said, you know, your dad was a raging alcoholic, and I am very sorry for that. It sounds like though he gave you a little extra change in the laundry. You know what I mean? It sounds like somehow with that deficit, for lack of a better word,
Oh, for sure.
he showed you some pretty cool things too.
Oh, he showed me a ton, and I'd like to like rephrase that, I guess. I mean, yes, he was like an alcoholic for damn sure. There's no
Absolutely.
way
So was
around
my
that
father.
whatsoever.
So was my father.
But he wasn't like he became that way because of the death of his parents. I saw how that created somebody, you know, and we were very active before that. So I saw how
So
this
you
could
saw his transition
Exactly.
into alcoholism?
exactly. So it was like
not an alcoholic from the get-go.
From the get-go. Yeah,
no offense
exactly.
to any get-go alcoholic.
No, for
I'm not
sure,
trying
for
to do
sure.
that, but okay, so you saw this transformation.
I did. So it was just like,
Wow.
all right, now that I see this, it's like as a young kid, I could be like, whoa, why aren't you just playing lacrosse more? Or why aren't you going out and skating more? Or why aren't we going out and hiking more? But
Right.
I mean, you put yourself in that person's mind and it's completely different, you
But
know, like
you,
as a young kid, I could see
you
that.
saw
So it
the
was
shift
like,
in your family, and you're
Yep.
like, what is happening here? This isn't a good shift. You
yep.
knew
And
that?
I was just like, and it was weird too, because I'd always been told as a young kid from my father, because he played lacrosse until he was about 30, 35. He'd always have told me a body in motion stays in motion. And then he stopped moving and it was very obvious.
Ooh.
You know, like he
Yeah.
went from like 220 pounds to like 300 pounds, 330.
Wow.
You know,
So
it was
you-
like,
like
and you
proving his point
physically
almost.
saw it. You-
oh yeah, I was like,
Wow.
dude, you're teaching me this and it's not, you know, it's not relating. Like
I
you're
call this-
teaching me this and
yep.
you're not doing it, you know?
This is
So
this is laundry room goosebumps.
yeah, definitely.
It's
I just
laundry room
got 'em too.
goosebumps. In segments like this, people be like, "Oh my gosh, you were given a gift," and what I find amazing about this is you were given the gift by your father before his unfortunate transition into alcoholism. It was almost like he had the foresight to say, hey,
For sure.
if my wheels fall off and this load of laundry never gets done, I need you to know this. And that to me is a huge gift. Like you just found $100 bill in the dryer, dude.
Yeah.
That is happy
Yeah.
change. And I know I'm using it loosely, 100. I mean, there's no way to equate money monetarily to a feeling like that or
No
a
way,
memory
yeah.
like that. But since we're in the laundry room,
What? And this is
it's a laundry pun.
this is also a heavy load, I'd say. We need extra bleach for this one. This one's getting a little bit.
Well, I don't
In
know.
depth
If
and
I don't know.
Yeah,
if
maybe
it's
some of
that,
those
or
those
it's
scent
just-
No, I
balls.
love it though.
Need some of those scent balls for what are those called?
Oh yeah, the scent ball.
Extra.
Whew,
Yeah,
where you
the-
open it up and you're like, whoa, I'm gonna smell that till 2025. That was
Definitely.
maybe not like, but let's tone it down a little bit. No, but also we could look at it like you're like, let's get the whites whiter. But I'm like, wow, we just opened the washroom and can't believe how bright our colors are
Yeah.
because it's
sure.
pretty cool.
Oh, I love that.
Do you know what I
Oh,
mean? You open
definitely.
it up and you went, oh, I just tried to. We just had a little color brightener and I opened it up and I'm like, holy shit, it works sometimes.
No, I love that.
So back to you and your dad and what you learned about
Yeah, I mean,
how he
he just
guided you before he knew he was going to guide you.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
yeah, he just basically guided me like, you know, work hard, play harder, basically. And it was just like, all right, you know, I could realize the path that he was going down. That's not what I wanted to do. So as an adult, I've really made it my purpose just to keep moving. I mean, we all deal with our vices. We all deal with our,
Well, and that's the best part about parents is like, you know, they'll obviously show us the path. They'll show us the right path to go. But then they also, sometimes you can go off a full 180.
For
and
sure.
just you want to do exact opposite of what they're doing. So from your point of view, obviously, it sounds like your father was teaching you the most valuable lessons. And then maybe at one point in his life, he decided to not take his own advice and do the exact opposite. And
Definitely.
so that maybe led you into your career choices and what you wanted to accomplish in life and what you wanted to do in life.
And here's a little side note. If you're ever listening again, Little Al and Monk, hey, gifts are hiding everywhere. Just keep looking. Just keep looking.
for sure.
So I can't wait to hear more.
Yeah, you got to just keep looking because in the end, you'll
Yeah.
never find out what it is. Yeah.
And I got to tell you, guys, we're on a podcast. Of course, it's audio and you can't see it. But hey, look into our Instagram. I am kind of sitting across from, thank God it's not really him because he wouldn't have been able to be on the show. Like when I first walked in tonight and I saw him in the green room, I was like, well, he really resembles Johnny Depp. And you guys, I'm not talking Johnny Depp
does.
character.
He does.
I'm talking about Johnny Depp. Oops, they found me in the grocery store. Stop looking at me. Yeah.
In my words.
It's a real cutie we got here.
Or he just walked off like the blow set from
There is a resemblance to the blow
It's
cast.
crazy.
Yes, yeah, that
He
you are
looks-
true.
He's well, again, you'll
Haas-
see on the Instagram, but this
yeah,
guy looks
Haas is-
identical.
and
Yeah, he's about to make a comeback.
And
I have faith
gotta
in my
tell you,
doppelganger.
he's true talent, so I think his talent is going to bring him back.
Yeah, I got
Okay.
faith in him.
I do too.
And
Johnny
I do
Depp's
too.
Always
I do
gonna
too.
come back.
And yeah, so we welcome you back. Unfortunately, not on the podcast,
Yeah.
but hey, we have an
Love
email.
you, Johnny, and email us anytime
Yeah,
at
email.
dirtylaundrycleanconfessions@gmail.com.
There you go.
But anyway, back to our guest here. So now that you've kind of briefed us on how you got started with river surfing, can you tell us about like your whole season? It sounds like it's just starting. We're just starting into the summer,
Yep.
and you surf like this all summer long into the fall
In
As
Colorado,
far
guys.
as
in Colorado.
yeah,
Which,
it
for
just
those of you that
depends.
do not know, it is a landlocked
In
state.
case you weren't sure.
Very landlocked, yes. I guess I'll explain some of the waves to you guys real
Yeah,
quick,
please,
just so you
yeah.
could understand a little bit of how we're able to do this.
And who, like, is there a handbook? Like, who made up these wave things? This is like
Yeah.
a thing.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, yeah. So
Is it in the
we're very
Olympics?
blessed out here. It is not in the
Is
Olympics.
surfing even in the Olympics?
It
Surfing
is.
Oh, it
Surfing
is.
just made it this
So
last
sur-
Olympics,
Oh,
as a matter of
so
fact.
sorry, I
Yep.
did
Shout
not
out
know.
to Italo Fierro
Hang 10
from
Lil
Brazil.
Bob.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Hang 10. Okay.
So yeah,
Back
I mean,
to river. Okay.
yes. So surfing made the Olympics last year. River surfing is starting to finally really blow up in the U.S. River surfing is actually really big in Europe, specifically like the
Okay.
Germany area. Like the wave I was talking about earlier, the Eisbach, that's what sort of started this in the 70s. And since then, they've actually created a couple man wave pools, as well as like, these are standing waves, not like surf waves like you see. It's really hard to explain.
Okay, first, what's
No,
the
no, no, I'm
standing
with
wave?
you, I'm
What's the
with you, I
standing wave and what is a surf wave? Is
Okay,
there a
so
difference?
there's a very big difference. So a surfing wave that you would normally find out in the ocean or at some of the wave pools out in the country, like Waco or Kelly Slater's wave pool.
So there really are wave, like they're
Pools.
actual pools. They're
Yep,
contained.
they're swimming
okay,
pools
they're
that have
man-made.
man-made
okay, thank
waves.
You. Okay,
Yep.
Like
thank you.
Water World.
And yeah, I mean, these pools were created mainly for competition, but
This is just
yeah, they're just like what you would see normally on any sort of movie, like Johnny Tsunami or whatever, like, you know, some old, or Endless Summer, Endless Summer. They're just like some old,
I know,
or not
shout
old,
out
but
to
it's
Johnny
ocean
Tsunami.
surfing. You're paddling into the wave's carrying you forward.
and
Rivers,
some of those actors from that movie should probably call in because I'm pretty sure you may not be famous.
I guarantee they're not.
Sorry. Go ahead.
However,
Love you.
river surfing is definitely a little bit different. It is a standing wave. And what I mean by that is the wave does not move, the surfer moves.
Oh, okay.
So the wave is not moving at any sort of point. Actually, what's happening is the water is flowing over whether it's a rock or a man-made slope. It creates a wave by hitting the bottom of the slope and creating sort of like a forward motion.
Okay.
And with that, it's very similar to what you would see in like wakeboarding or wake surfing.
Oh, I've wakeboarded.
Yeah.
'cause I
Yep.
And
love-
wake surfing.
I love,
Yeah.
love
So
water
if you've
skiing.
ever been wakeboarding or wake surfing, you'll notice, especially wake
Yeah,
surfing, you
you
have
see
to
it.
sit in the wake for it to pull you forward. Well, this is
Exactly.
the same exact idea, except the only difference is how we're entering these waves.
Yours is just natural motion. There's no boat. See, there you go.
So
I'm
it is and
picturing
it
a-
isn't. I will
Is
say
there a
this.
boat in the river? Because
There is
I pictured
not.
Okay, because
There's-
I'm like, how is that hot back there? See, so there's my confession.
There is
I'm picturing
no
a boat
boat.
in the river. Going, how are they maneuvering that?
How is this possible?
However, people will make these waves. We're not just finding random rocks.
Right. It's
Like,
not just natural. It's
Oh.
people. It's man-made.
exactly.
Okay,
Like
okay.
there's
But still, that's still you're not in the water with a motorboat
no.
taking you to these places. You're
My best way to describe
in
it
there
is
in the river with, I'm hoping, your helmet and your surfboard, right?
touche. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it has to be. I'm
Better
just,
wear a
just,
helmet.
hey, it's
dude.
just in my mind. That's what I like to see.
100%.
So I'm getting snagged right
bathroom?
now on this
Open fire?
podcast about the helmet.
Hey, wear a helmet. His wife
And-
says wear a helmet.
And let me tell you, like from 1990 to 99, I didn't get to drink alcohol because I chose to birth healthy and nurse healthy babies. So I gave up a lot of Garth Brooks concerts.
So
And then
wear
he
your helmets,
decides-
kids.
Because I wanted my kids to have healthy brains, I gave up a decade of Garth Brooks concerts.
Touche.
And
You know
I
what?
got to tell you, because I wanted my kids to either have, like, I wanted the healthy pregnancy, I wanted the healthy breast milk. And so I did give up my 90s. And then he did retire in frickin' 1999. And I thought, well, that's not nice. But he came back.
Touche.
And that's great.
Touche.
But anyway, that's what I'm saying. Come on. Your mom's wanted you healthy.
Wear your helmets, kids.
You heard it here.
Yeah, I mean, we will have obviously our natural waves that are based off of just water running off of rocks. However, like we've been very blessed in Colorado as well as a lot of other spots in the country where they've actually had companies come in and create these waves where they literally will.
Oh, so we probably have like a water engineer come in. And
Yep.
go, if we put a
That's
rock here and we do.
dope.
Oh,
Yep, specifically there's a
Awesome.
park called McLaughlin Whitewater. They make whitewater parks for like rafting.
Shout out.
sounds scary.
So shout out to those
out,
guys.
but-
Yeah, they're actually doing wonders. They've created a like it's crazy. They've created this wave where we actually can adjust the wave depending on the water due to a hydraulic system.
No way.
So
That's pretty
it's a
awesome.
ramp, and then every day a wave. We call them like the wave shaper, or like we'll joke around and call them like the wave gods. You know, and
Right.
they'll come up with their little key, and they'll open up the hatch, and they'll open it up, and they'll sit down there and mess with the hydraulics, and it'll lift a ramp underneath the water.
No
And they can mess
way.
with that.
Yep,
And, oh,
and
That is
depending on the
amazing.
flow of the
Cool.
water, it'll create different types of wave, higher, shorter, faster, slower. So
you know, just
It's
I
very
love
cool.
That. That's so rad.
maybe
I had
it's
no idea.
awesome shit like this that really needs to be to bring awareness to those people that haven't quite gotten it yet about water conservation.
1,000%.
Look how
a great
cool this
point.
is. Look what we can do with water, and let's start conserving water. Like, let's do it backwards in a way. Let's
I mean,
not talk about the dry rivers, but do you want to lose this? This is cool.
not only that, but I have personally seen the growth of this area. Like where I
Really?
surf right now, I grew up right down the street. I surf primarily at River Run Park, which is in Denver, Colorado. And
Don't bombard him with autographs because
oh,
we know
whatever.
you that you will, but like, please leave him alone.
And do-
Whatever.
Anyway,
Yeah.
continue.
If you
Because
want-
you don't want to disqualify him for any further appearances. We don't want him to become famous.
I promise you this will not happen. However, this park is in the middle of, it's technically Inglewood and Sheridan.
I'm saying this sounds
cool.
so familiar to me. Like, I
Yep.
think I've driven past it and I don't
I
realize
used to live
it.
over there.
So there's
I
a,
live right there.
Okay.
it's right off of Union Boulevard and Santa Fe, basically. It's in between Santa Fe and Sheridan on Union Boulevard.
I know exactly what you're talking. I used to live right there. That's so cool.
Yep. So
Now that I think about it, there was a ton of people trying to like
Santa
jump
Fe-
in the water, and I
What
wasn't
was it?
thinking
And
what
two-
they were doing. They were
Sheridan and what?
No, they were trying to surf.
Yep.
I think now that I think about it.
so
but
there's
I didn't know
three
what it
waves
was.
at this park. There's not just one. There's actually three waves, and
Are
two.
these natural waves or man-made?
They're
Or no, are
all
these
man-made.
stand waves?
They're all standing waves.
That's standing waves, not
They're all
stand.
standing waves, and
Standing
two of
waves.
them are adjustable,
Okay.
which is
Nice.
very huge. But yeah,
Is
this
this all
park
coming from the Platte River?
it all is all coming from the
Okay.
Platte River, and we get all of our water primarily from the drop from Chatfield Reservoir.
Oh, very.
Oh, that makes
cool.
sense
Very
now.
cool.
So what we'll
Okay,
get
into
is
Inglewood. Okay. Oh,
Yep.
I'm seeing it now.
And what
Okay.
happens actually is the farmers out in the middle of like Wiggins and stuff way out east, they actually order this water from Chatfield for their crops.
Okay. Yeah.
Is
makes
that why that's where my water skiing water went in my younger days? Like you'd go out there in August
Yep.
and you're like, what the I was just down here last Sunday.
Yep, it all goes out to
Okay.
It
so they
goes out
put
to
their
the
order
corn you
in,
eat.
In a way,
Yeah.
which I understand. Which, shame on them for feeding people. This was fun.
I know.
No,
How
I'm
dare
joking.
them?
No, but that makes sense. Like
Yep.
I would remember going out to Chatfield going, I was just here last weekend, I swear, and there was water.
Yep, and now when they drop that water, I'm surfing it. So
So when they drop it, it has to get from
point A to
B.
point B, and in between, I surf it. So
This is awesome. Surfing is like a individual sport. Like you know, and you also started your athletic life in lacrosse, which is a team sport.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yep. Completely
That
different.
is two different huge dynamics.
Yeah, how did you even endeavor into this other sport? I know that you've been really interested in lacrosse recently. How did that even intersect in any way?
I mean, honestly, I would say it was the pandemic. I mean, I was playing.
Ching ching with the pandemic.
Always.
Seriously.
Always.
I was playing lacrosse very heavily. I was playing in a couple very competitive men's leagues out here. I was trying very hard to let's get in shape. Let's make my way. Try to see if I can make it back into the league.
Are you from Colorado?
I'm from Colorado.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Born and raised?
Born and raised.
Good for you.
I went to school in Baltimore, Maryland for about 9 months.
Okay.
Realized
So you had a year.
this
No.
place sucks. It's not Colorado, so I came back home for sure.
Different.
Especially considering that everyone I met out there was like, "What are you doing out here?
Mhm.
This place sucks." And I was like, "You're right. What am I doing out here?" But it was where the lacrosse was. There wasn't much lacrosse
okay.
growing up here.
It wasn't more on the East Coast.
It was
and
all
that's where
on
it
the
was
East
growing.
Coast.
And
Yep,
your little
exactly.
story reminds me of my dad when I was little, and I remember looking up at him. I'm like, I get where I'm born. I was just born to you. You were in Colorado, but wouldn't it have been cool if I was born to a family on a shore, like an ocean
Yeah,
or a
seriously.
state? And my dad looked at it and he goes, I can't wait for you to try and leave Colorado.
Seriously, you'll
And
leave.
I
And
remember being 5 years old. He's like,
Tough.
I can't wait. And he was so right, because the first place I picked was Arizona. And I'm like, cool. That was it. I said
Well-
I'd do 12 months. I did 12 months to the day, and I came home. Yeah.
And there's had to have been some crazy story from the East Coast, when you were in Baltimore or something.
Yeah.
Obviously it was worthwhile your time, but did you ever have any crazy experiences while you were out there that
For sure. I mean, when I was out there, I went to a junior college that was primarily built to build Division I athletes.
right? Oh,
So
shit.
Okay,
it was
okay.
nonstop work. I mean, as soon as we'd wake up 4 a.m., get to the field by 5. If you weren't, practice started at 5:30. So if you weren't 30 minutes early, you were late.
Yeah,
it was
right.
and this
You
was
were already late in your day.
this was junior college. This wasn't even
I would have never
real
made it.
college. I remember the first day of practice, 300 kids showed up, and I was like, bro, there's not 300 kids that play this sport in Colorado. It was super
You're
hectic.
Kidding.
I mean, there's probably 300 kids, but I've never seen that many kids show up to a tryout. That's for sure.
Wow.
And it was just nonstop working. But in the end, I mean, there's a lot of cool things. I remember we went to an after party once, and Mac Miller was there performing, and
dude.
that was super crazy. I mean, this was
way.
For the listeners that do not know, no, Smarge just didn't know who Mac Miller was. And since I've listened to some music, and very cool.
yeah, definitely.
Very cool.
Mac Miller is probably
Super cool.
a
Very
legend
cool.
in the industry.
And I am so sorry I didn't know.
No, I
But
mean,
very cool.
yeah, it was super cool. I mean, in the end, it was
he cool?
he seemed cool. I mean, no one.
Sure, he was dope as shit.
I'll say this: when you're in that college type scene, everybody's sort of trying to just show how cool they are, and then you realize who the chill people are,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you 90% of the time they're probably just some stoner kid who just doesn't care about anything, and that's sort of the vibe I got from Mac, or I can't even say that, I don't know him like that, but
Right.
that's sort of the vibe I got from him and his friends and stuff. I mean, they were there trying to spread their names, handing out demos, they're working, they're from
But he was real
Pennsylvania,
chill about
they're
it.
going
They're
down.
young
He was-
kids, man.
Young
They're just trying to represent what they're trying to build, and I get it.
Exactly. So I mean,
That's cool.
super super cool.
That's awesome.
I mean, it's
That is neat.
it's a super cool experience,
I was going to say, what a great addition to just life. Here's a side note.
for sure. Probably maybe the best experience of Baltimore, because that place sucked.
I don't hear a lot of people saying I moved here and I love it.
Yeah, no, it's very rough out there. Not for the faint of heart.
Sounded like you got pretty far in your lacrosse career. How did that even begin?
So yeah, I mean, I literally grew up from a baby playing lacrosse. I mean, my dad had played lacrosse as a child. He'd played in the men's leagues throughout Colorado.
I'm assuming that's how you gained your interest from
exactly
your father.
like a lot of times you'll hear a kid will play catch with their dad, and they're usually out front playing with the baseball or something, or football. And we were playing with lacrosse sticks when I was a kid, which was very cool. And then as I grew older, I started to realize the importance of the sport and what it was. It was more than just. It's not like football or hockey or soccer where it's. I mean, I don't know the origin stories of those, but lacrosse was created as a form of war through the Native Americans back in the day.
Is that where it originated from?
Yeah, it actually.
So it is a Northern American sport.
Yep, through North America.
Okay.
And like back in the day, like Native
Take that, Europe.
different tribes would actually.
Usually they invent all of the sports. It feels
They
like
actually
in a way.
ruined it. They ruined it. If you think about
I
it.
didn't mean that. I didn't mean they ruined it, but I just feel like they invented, like they had the Romans. You know, they
For
invented
sure.
everything.
Oh, definitely. It's
just thought
actually
that was
crazy
a
because
cool note.
it's the opposite with
Sorry if I
lacrosse.
offended anyone.
No, not at all. Those dang Europeans.
I don't want to be hearing from the Europeans tomorrow now. That you're saying that lacrosse has come, the actual sport came from the Native Americans.
But yeah, lacrosse used to be used by the Native Americans in North America primarily to like handle disputes. So instead of war, they would actually put together a game of lacrosse that would be played across like 5 or 6 miles. And this wasn't like some game. I mean, it was a game. Don't get me wrong, but people would die.
They were playing for their lives.
They were playing for their lives and their livelihood,
territory.
and they would kill each other, and they would.
Okay.
It was very brutal, very serious. However, when the Europeans came to the U.S., they started colonizing it, and they started introducing pads and everything like that. But if you go to some of like the old Native American like reservations up north, like in Onondaga and stuff, they'll still play
Very
what they call as the creators game.
Haas, do not volunteer for that.
Do not.
If you're ever traveling, I know you like to get out and experience the culture. That's a no.
Right now.
Big nope. Yeah, don't play that game.
And it still goes on today.
Today, I mean, yeah,
Wow.
they still play it out there once a year, and they tell the story, and it's super cool. It's really cool, and I mean, it really, you want to feel connected to a sport. There's a good way to feel connected to the
That
sport.
is
There's a heritage that, like a background that really makes you want to follow it.
And how did you even get started then? How did you even get kick-started into lacrosse? Because it sounds like you have a very big passion for it, but like where did this even come from?
I honestly can't even remember my first stick. Like, I've always had one in my hand. I probably had one in my crib as a baby. I've literally always had one in my. Like my dad jokes that I used it to help me like walk as a kid.
So it's just been a part of you.
It's always been a part of me.
Part of you.
It's always been a part of me.
That's very cool.
Super cool. And, still to this day, if I get frustrated, I'll go play wall ball or something. I don't even play anymore. But it's a good form of therapy, and it's the creator sport. So it's cool for dang sure. But yeah, I worked really hard at trying to play this sport.
Yeah.
Great.
I love it. And it sounds like your dad had a pretty big impact
Yeah,
on your relationship with that sport specifically.
super huge impact. That's for dang sure. I mean, without him, I would have never played.
He played lacrosse.
He did
correct?
play.
Right.
It's actually crazy. My last real good memory of him before he died was us playing an alumni game at Inglewood High School. So it's super cool. Like we got to play together and everything, and sort of ended like that. And honestly, I feel like that's maybe why I've indulged myself so much into river surfing now, is I feel like maybe now that he's gone, it's like I can focus on something else.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense.
And the other cool thing is growing up as a kid, I grew up my dad always played. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie The Endless Summer. It's like a super cheesy surf movie from back in the day about this family that they just basically broke all the rules, and they lived in an RV, and they just were always surfing, and so it was my dad would always play that and stuff. And
that's great.
And when I first
What a
started
great
surfing,
memory.
I'd tell people that all the time, and then I got invited into doing some random surf stuff. So even without him not being there, coaching me through lacrosse or coaching me through surfing, he's still there.
Yeah.
So it's pretty sick that it
100%.
it all relates and goes together, But yeah, it's cool. One was a team sport, one's a personal sport, but it all like correlates, so it's pretty sick.
Just being in the sport, just having that.
Just moving.
Yeah, just move like what we were talking about with the Olympic juice man Jeff that we were talking to. Yeah, it's movement. Movement was key, and just keep moving, and that's positive.
Yep. Heck yeah. Once you stop moving, you stop moving.
Right.
You know, speed never hurt anyone. It's stopping abruptly fast.
Everybody
just
keep moving forwards, you guys. Let's stop and hesitate.
Yep, exactly. I totally agree.
Oh, that is awesome.
That's great. And that's honestly such a crazy endeavor that you've had all these experiences with your river surfing, and like honestly, and it sounds like you got really close to were you a professional athlete when you were?
So I never actually went pro in lacrosse. I've tried my hardest. I mean, there was definitely a couple different mammoth tryouts that I went to, open tryouts that I went to.
Well, good for you. Then making it to the tryouts
closer than anyone that we've ever talked to.
In my book, that's still making it.
Yeah.
And you're not famous, so you can be.
I'm not famous.
I know,
You're right.
I'm
not even close.
That's why I'm able to talk to you like this.
But yeah, I mean, I tried really, really hard, and I feel like I made it to a pretty high level and played against some very competitive players in the sport, and like felt like I held my own, but. It's just like anything else, like sometimes the cookie, or sometimes it doesn't like fall your way. It doesn't,
right.
Yeah. So you just need to pick up the pieces and build something else with it, There's no point in.
And that's it. Just keep moving.
And you found your passion. You found what you love, and it sounds like you obviously love both, but maybe there's a more passion for river surfing than you really realized, and that's a huge deal.
Marge has a quick question though.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still not getting the grasp of the river surfing. So. Like you're on your surfboard, but you're not moving. You like the water's moving below you, but you're kind of stationary.
Yep.
Okay.
So basically, what happened?
That still helps.
Hey, Smarge, note from Otter. We will post some videos on our Insta.
But that still helps that whatever it is in your soul saying I want to keep moving, even though. Do you see what I'm saying? The water's moving.
Oh,
you're
for
not
sure.
Moving. And you see surfers that come from outside and they come into the shore. And to me, that I'm just. But
for sure, and in our defense, I think we're still. Yeah, I think we're still moving. Yeah, we're still moving. It's
I'm not saying you're not working. I bet your core is working its ass off.
It is working
on that board and just stay stationary like that. I can't imagine. So I'm not saying it's not work. I'm just saying, does that still fulfill your urge for movement? And
I think so. Yeah.
Great.
For me personally, it does. It reminds me a lot of skateboarding. And on top of that, like we're moving a lot side to side as opposed to front and back.
Okay.
Which is a good way to look at it. Yeah. So, I mean, we're still moving. It's just a little bit different.
You're grooving.
Yeah, and it's a different way to.
Right?
Amen.
Right?
Amen.
And you're grooving.
Amen.
Gotcha.
We're from the 70s, if you haven't noticed.
Yeah. We like to keep it retro here in the laundry room.
Our machine barely works. It's on quarters.
Here's a cool one. We were talking about this earlier. How to take care of your wetsuit.
Yes, that's a big deal.
Actually, yeah, we've been wanting to ask you about that.
Yeah, since this is like a laundry podcast. Well, it's not technically a laundry podcast, but we are in a laundry room.
It's a laundry podcast.
And we're doing laundry.
In the laundry room.
And we're hanging it all up to dry.
How do you clean your dry suit / wetsuit?
Okay, so
they're different.
They are different. I do not personally own a dry suit.
Right.
However, like I said, I do not take offense or clown
We
anyone who wears a dry suit. The biggest difference is a wetsuit is
you can pee in.
Sort of, yeah. I mean,
if you're in a lake or
I do not recommend peeing in your wetsuit.
You shouldn't.
However,
you shouldn't.
You technically can, and lots of people are very open about it and cool with it, which I think is sort of strange when people tell me that they're peeing in their wetsuit. I'm like, you're sitting right next to me, bro.
That's an emergency type situation.
Anyways,
it's hard to get off.
A
wetsuit is very tight, so what you'll see, like normally what a surfer would wear, like a super tight suit, looks like spandex almost. That's a wetsuit, and what that does is it allows water into the suit. And the water actually at first is super freezing cold. Like it's the normal temperature of the water. And then it heats up to your body heat. Yep.
Also, FYI, it keeps out sea urchins.
Yep. It keeps out. It does wonders. So it's super nice. I like those a lot. You can also use a dry suit, which tends to be a little bit looser.
Okay.
Almost looks like a snowboard suit.
Yeah.
and it'll keep you completely dry. You don't have to worry about any water getting in
Wow.
that thing.
Maybe I have a vintage dry suit.
Do you get water in yours?
My dry suit fits me tighter
Oh, does
than
it?
my wetsuit.
Oh.
And it's hard to get in and out of. And it is sealed at the ankle, and it's sealed at the neck, and it's sealed at the wrists.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe I have.
Maybe.
invented
I don't
because
know.
It's not easy to get baggy. No, not at all. Hence why no water gets in, no water
Inside,
gets
yeah.
out.
Nice and tight.
So no liquid gets in, no liquid gets out. So do not pee in your dry suit.
See?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yep. You don't. I do know you don't want to pee in a dry suit. I also am not as familiar with a dry suit, so maybe there are tighter ones. However, every dry suit I've seen has been a little bit baggier.
Maybe that was the trend, or maybe it's a new thing. I mean, like, I can't say that I've been in water in Colorado lately.
I mean, I would
wanted to put
imagine
it off,
you are probably have a lot more knowledge on a dry suit than I do.
Like, what's the coldest temperature you've been in?
So it depends. I've been in
It's a
water
twofold
with
question
people
there.
I've seen. Like, I've seen people in dry suits in the water I'm in.
But
I use
you're wearing a wetsuit.
Yeah, I wear a wetsuit. I wear a 5 millimeter, 3 millimeter. So that's about the thickest you can buy.
Okay.
I've seen people like surf Alaska with these suits. So I figure if they're surfing it, they're fine. But I've surfed Salida. I've surfed the Salida wave at right around 28
And
degrees.
if you guys don't know where
Okay.
that is, it's in Colorado. Very, very cold.
Super cold.
all
During
the
this
time.
time of year.
All the
Yeah.
time, even in the summer.
Well-
all the time cold.
About
is it
9,000.
really?
Yep, 9,000.
It's over 8,000. Yeah.
It's like 9,000 feet above altitude. So
I didn't think it
It's-
was that cold during the summer, though.
it warms up a little bit, but the water will always
The-
be
yeah,
cold.
The water
Yeah.
just doesn't get a chance to warm up because it's always that cold.
It'll never warm up. Exactly.
And you get to ride that.
Yeah, and if you have
that's cool.
a rafting background, there's a lot of rafting up there.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Yep.
I have a rafting background. I do not enjoy rafting. My background is note to self: don't ever
do it.
do that again to yourself.
No,
You
I
did it
love
twice. You
rafting.
terrified yourself both times. Don't do it. However, I wish it wasn't that way for me because if you could enjoy it, it looks awesome.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you're not holding on for dear
Well,
life and
and
wondering when the last time you did your will,
And
I could see how you could enjoy it.
and my dad was a river raft guide, and for
Aw,
most
that's
of
great,
most of
Haas.
our listeners, I don't know if you guys know, but my father also passed away, and our
Sorry
guest
to hear
here,
that, yeah.
he's also part of the Dead Dad crew.
And we
the
really need a
DDC.
sound
DDC.
effect, like another member.
He's another
Wow.
member, and it is unfortunate, but you do find these miraculous things about your lives when you lose someone like that.
You do. You look more closely.
Yeah,
That's what I think
and
happens. I think
Especially
you look
something like this.
closer.
Like, this is the most adventurous thing I would imagine in your life. I mean, if it's not, I'm going to be shocked because this is the baddest thing that you've ever fucking done. We can all, as part
Yes.
of the DDC club, the Dad Club, that we can all
Yeah.
agree
Heck yeah.
that you can grow from it and you can, like,
Absolutely.
you
And
can
then you
actually-
can tell the most wonderful, awful jokes you've ever told your entire life as part of your therapy.
exactly.
Hell yeah.
I mean,
No,
Only way to
I
get
mean,
through it.
it's not for everyone, and and it isn't to be disrespectful either. I have to always say that. I just feel the need to say that. It's a way of healing that Haas and I found in common together, despite our age difference, despite who we lost, or we both lost our fathers, but at different times in our lives, we were in different places in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
But the dad jokes is what gets us through.
Yeah, I love it.
And we just couldn't ignore it anymore.
Oh,
Can't.
And I can tell you right now, her brother, not so happy about it. And,
no, he
and
hates it.
hates
Oh,
it.
Really?
And
Yeah,
this is
and I'm
and this is
like-
the best worst part. He gets upset when I repeat certain jokes from Haas, and he just looks at me like. But however, I am grandparent to Monk. Also, he's with my daughter.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I don't know what's he gonna say.
Yeah. I have a lot of questions for him because
Me
dad
too.
jokes are hilarious.
But he doesn't find it as funny, and it's the same dad.
No, I love him. I
It's
personally
it's
love him.
therapeutic, and it's
My favorite dead dad joke is when someone tells me like a really good time they just had with their father, and I tell them, "Oh, I wish my dad was still around to take me to do things." That might be my favorite one. Or if they're like, "Yeah, my dad did all these cool things as a kid," I'm like, "Oh, I wish I had a dad to do things with me as a kid."
I do
love
that
it.
literally every day.
Are you okay, House? Hey, it's come to that time in our wash cycle that we are now ready for the final spin cycle. And this is where we ask our not the real guest the top final rinse questions of the day.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So we have we have a few for you.
Let's do
Okay.
it.
So it's gonna be a quick spin cycle for you.
Let's make it happen.
You ready? Tell me what your biggest pet peeve is.
Biggest pet peeve.
The audience is dying to know.
Probably not being active.
Ooh.
I hate someone who's just lazy for no reason. Like
No, that's good.
we got
That's
one
good.
we got one chance, we got one shot. Let's make it happen.
You got one life. Let's
One shot.
fucking go.
Grandma spaghetti on my sweater.
His palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. His mama on a sweater already. It's mom spaghetti. He's nervous.
Okay,
On the surface,
okay.
He's gonna be ready.
That's
You
good.
go, Otter. You
Thank
go,
you,
Otter.
Otter.
Woo,
There
Otter
we
is
go.
in the room.
Crushing it.
Okay, what would be your favorite word and your least favorite word? Favorite word in the entire
I get-
universe.
Really, I could just say my favorite word I can't say because my mom raised me right. And I know I can't. I say bro probably more than I need to. You know? Like
We have the same lingo.
I say it way more than I need to, but
Okay.
So what's your
that's
least
my
favorite?
favorite
That's
word
good.
for sure. Least favorite word is probably president.
Does that
Okay,
translate to you
that's
as
fair, that's
old
fair.
white male?
I just think of it as someone who's fucked a lot of people over
Okay,
to get
there
to
you
their
go.
position.
Old.
That's
What?
fair.
No.
That's fair.
You
I
know?
mean, it's coming around. Damn
get
it. Damn it.
Okay. What would be your favorite and least favorite sound? Not to cut you off, but
All right, favorite sound ever is probably like a 50-50 grind. You know? Like
Ooh, that's a good
ASMR
one, that's a
to
good
the
one.
fullest. There's nothing that can compete that. Especially a
What
good
is
coping.
that?
A good
Yeah.
coping. I don't know what it is. I love that noise. That's the best noise ever.
Oh my God. I think you'd like my
You're our new favorite.
grandson's latest app.
Yeah?
And
Does
it's
he make
like
skateboard noises?
Oh, he does love that one. He does love that one.
That's all it is.
Is it ocean
like-
noises?
That is someone shushing for a good 35 minutes.
And your grandson loves it?
Oh, he will pay big money
Yeah.
for that shit.
How old is he?
He's 6
5 months? Yeah, almost
Perfect.
6. Yeah,
I'm gonna
coming
send you some skate grinds. We're
You know what?
We're gonna create a shredder.
Hey, Monk.
Okay.
My-
We got your back covered.
We
Wait
got
till you
you.
get to listen to this for
Yeah.
6 months to
Yep.
a year, maybe. That'll help.
Okay.
So skate grinds probably
Wow.
favorite. Least favorite would probably be. I'll be real. I hate fireworks. Ever since I started having like a dog,
Do you really?
Like-
oh, with a dog.
like you
Yeah.
know, like my dog. I've
my
never.
God.
I've had so many. I've had 2 dogs, but
Oh my
I've
God.
even had homies dogs who just trip over fireworks.
Yeah.
So I hear
My-
it, and I.
my-
That's fair.
Dead father used to tell this story about when I was little and how he took me to this 4th of July and he was like so excited for me to see it. It was a big deal at a big
Yeah.
park or something, right? And I said, yeah, great. Why does it have to be so loud? Like, it's so pretty. Why can't it just be
Seriously.
quiet?
Whatever
Why
they
can't we
wanna
just
say.
come here and watch it? And he just looked at me and was like, oh my God, you are going to be impossible to please in life, aren't you? And that's how he told the story. And I'm like, oh, okay.
You're like,
Yeah, but
yeah.
you know what I mean? I even remember at a young age going, beautiful to watch, but why do we need all this ruckus
Why
for?
does that sound
What
like
the hell?
war?
Thank
It literally
you.
sounds like war. I've never been in war, but I bet that sounds like war.
All right. Otter is going to finish up the questions. Wrap up this
Absolutely. We
load.
love you, Otter.
Okay. This is a really great question, C-Lew.
Mhm.
How do you want to be greeted at death? So upon your death, whatever you believe, however you believe, how do you
Yeah.
imagine you're greeted upon death?
I would love if I died and the first thing I saw was my parents, because I'm sure my mom will hopefully die before me. It's fucked up as that sounds. You would
That's not
imagine
fucked
your
up.
mom would want to die
Yeah,
before
Hey,
you,
dude.
right?
Dude,
So-
that's not fucked up. You're talking about the natural cycle of life. What
True,
is
true.
naturally supposed to happen.
So I
So
would
that's
imagine-
not fucked up. So don't get hung up on that.
My
So you want to
parents,
see? Yeah.
my parents, I'd want all my dogs that I've recently had.
Oh.
And then I'd want just a mini ramp with a bunch of skateboards. And then hopefully I'm waiting for Allie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But like in the end, like
you
that's
coward. Are
yeah.
you saying I'm going first?
fuck yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm with you.
Most
But aren't we
spouses
cowards for
feel that
thinking
way.
that way? But I'm with
No,
you.
you can't live without your spouse.
Absolutely.
I would like to go first.
I love you.
But if
Oliver.
she does go before me, hopefully she's there waiting for me too.
Yeah.
But a
I get
mini
it, I
ramp,
get
my
it, I
dogs,
get it, I get
the
it.
ones I love,
That's awesome.
for sure. Yep, that's how I want to be greeted.
I get it.
All right. And then the final question, C-Lew, is how would you describe your laundry, and does that reflect your style? Are you more of a sorter or a leave it in the dryer for
Oh
a
my
week?
gosh.
Or
I separate everything, whites, colors.
Oh, he's a sorter.
But I didn't always do that.
Are you
wife
really?
made me do that. Yeah.
Oh, you're
He's a sorter and a learner.
Hey,
Look at that.
I'm a
Gem.
pleaser.
You're a gem right there.
I'm a pleaser.
That's how we know.
I try.
Hey, homie.
I'm trying. However, Allie can say what she wants, but there are so many freaking weird clothes from girls. I don't know what to like. Like separation is sort of weird at that
That's
angle when I
fair.
get like
That's
weird
true.
strings.
They
and stuff.
do, yeah.
Yeah, if you're doubting it,
True that.
don't frickin' put it in the dryer.
True that. But yeah,
Don't, like, if you're doubting it, don't put it into a machine that has the potential of shrinking something down
that's what I'm saying.
10 times the size
None
that
of
you
my-
put it in
None of my hoodies don't go delicate. Like all my hoodies are delicate.
No, yeah.
Because
Don't
I'm
mess with that.
I may be athletic, but I'm a chubby boy.
and you need your room.
Hoodies
I
need
want
to be
my
on
room.
delicate.
I want
Yeah,
my room.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I take
So
So is that
laundry
how you
sorta
are in your
serious.
personal relationships? I love you, but I need my personal space.
1000%.
And that is why you are a thrill seeker in some people's.
Yeah.
It's all coming together in the wash.
my friends
It's all
know they
coming
love,
out in the wash.
Like I love them, but I may only see them every now and again. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
like,
That's
totally.
okay.
but they know I'm there for them, and
That doesn't mean you
And
love them any
vice versa.
less.
But same
Yeah.
thing with my laundry.
Yeah.
I love you, laundry, but I'll be there for you when I get to you.
And I'm not gonna love you any less, and I'm not gonna love you any more.
Amen,
The
brother.
love's gonna be
Amen.
the same.
We've
Yep.
all been there.
Oh yeah.
No,
Oh, yeah.
thank you. And that means a lot. And honestly, it's nice to have a Johnny Depp look-alike on the podcast. And we appreciate you here. We
We
can't
do.
thank you enough.
do.
And
Yeah.
And once
this
again,
is insane. Thank
like
you.
I say, even though Little Alan Monk, our family is not surrounded by famous people, our family is surrounded by fucking great people.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Right?
We really are.
and
We really
are surrounded by
Oh, yeah.
people that have these experiences that you can pull whatever you can from them. Just make it positive. Just
Yeah.
make it forward. Make it positive. So you really inspired me to really keep this podcast going just as a way so grandchildren and how we are now connected, which is just hilarious. Haas and I are now, I'm like, oh my God, you're stuck with me for life now. Which is
family
awesome.
forever.
Whoa. And how it's going to transform, My big push is the teenagers, what do you do and how can I be helpful as a grandparent? Because, yeah, it's all great when they're cute, cuddly, and little, but I want to be there for that too
Hell yeah.
in the family. And I just think this is great that we can just say, like, maybe by then river surfing will be outlawed if you don't wear your helmet. And if you wear your helmet, you can do it all you want. That's what I'm just saying. You don't know what the future's going to bring, okay?
Well-
and it brings good things sometimes. That's all I'm saying.
And the reason that we brought you on,
but
the reason that
yeah.
we have the podcast is to like talk about different aspects in life.
Absolutely.
And talk about how, family can all come together. And
Absolutely. Haas, are you trying to say the way he found his way was on the wave? Is that what we're going for?
that's
Is
exactly
that the vibe I'm
exactly
feeling?
what's happening. That's exactly
Aw. Well, I can honestly say that this wash has come out spectacular. I'm telling you, like,
Yeah.
I am just like so freaking happy with it.
It's like a
this is
cold
amazing.
wash, but like
and
a double cycle.
Hey, if you get a little bored with your life, don't give up. Let's try this.
Yeah.
Or let's try
Do a new cycle.
And I think what we learned from our Not the Real Guest is something very real. Find something you love. Make sure you feel passionate. Make sure you feel good about it.
Yeah.
Continually move forward.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get a little stuck, just keep moving. Just keep moving. Don't stop.
Absolutely.
That's great.
Thank you so much for being on. We can't thank you enough, and we can't thank you for the amount of stories that you've been able to tell us. This is unbelievable. We
Yeah,
can't
of
thank
course.
you enough.
Heck yeah. Thank you guys for having me. Appreciate it. That was a
Absolutely.
blast. Super fun time. So,
Yeah.
And hey,
Yeah.
would you come back again if invited?
Of course.
We're putting you on the spot.
hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Holler.
All right.
We
Because
live
I
on-
can't wait to
We
hear.
live on the same block.
Oh, he lives on the same block as
Yeah.
the old.
Represent the set.
Oh, right. Well, maybe we'll get him involved because it's under construction right now, and we are actually
Yeah.
expanding.
That's a
We're
hood term.
gonna
Under
expand.
construction. That's a hood term for we're coming for you.
We're coming
The
for you.
set's coming.
Oh, I did watch Godfather all weekend. Is that like we're taking it to the mattresses,
Sure,
or is
yep,
that different,
yep.
or is that we're coming for you, taking it to the mattresses?
As far as I'm concerned, that's the
Yeah.
exact same thing.
Anyway, we are expanding the studio, so during our summer brief break, which we'll clue you in about later, we're going to be expanding. So
Cool.
can't wait to have you back.
Cheers.
Love you, bro. Thanks again
Thanks
for
for having
having
me.
us. Thanks for being on, and we'll see you next week.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Hey, before we wrap up this spin cycle, Haas and I would like to give a quick shout out to those listeners who may be famous. We really do adore you, and even though you do not qualify as an NTRG, not the real guest, we would always love to hear from you. This is Smarge and Haas, keeping it sorted, keeping it real, from the family laundry room. Be safe, stay even, and remember, when in doubt, go half.
Thank you for listening to Dirty Laundry Clean Confessions. Follow us on Instagram at Dirty Laundry Clean Confessions. And if you would like to be the next Not the Real Guest, please email us at dirtylaundrycleanconfessions@gmail.com. We would love to air out the dirty laundry with you